Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
Crystal Reports provides another useful tool for creating charts from the grouped and summarized data within your reports. This tool is called the Chart Expert. You use the Chart Expert to quickly and easily create graphs and charts to supplement your report data. To insert a chart into your report, you can select Insert and then choose the Chart command from the menu bar. You can also simply click the Insert Chart button that appears within the Insert toolbar. Then click into the section of the report where you want to place the chart. If the Chart Expert dialog box does not launch, you can right-click the chart that you just inserted, and then choose the Chart Expert command from the pop-up menu that appears. The Chart Expert dialog box is a series of tabs which you click through, setting your desired chart options in each as needed. On the Type tab, you can select which type of chart to create in your report by clicking on the desired type within the Chart Type list. To the right of the listing of chart types, you will then see the various chart subtypes from which you can select. You can click on the specific subtype that you want to create in the area to the right, and you can read the description of the chart type in the small text box below the subtype. Also, for some of the chart types, like the bar chart type, you can select either a horizontal or vertical display by choosing the desired option buttons that appear at the bottom of the chart type list. Next, on the Data tab, you can set the display of the data used within the chart. In the Layout section, you can choose either Advanced, Group, Crosstab, or OLAP. Not every choice will be available depending on the data source of the report. Whichever button is selected in the Layout section impacts the display of the Data section within the Data tab. For most reports with grouping applied, the group choice will appear as the default. This then allows you to select for which grouped fields values, if you have more than one, you want to show the summary data by choosing the field to use from the On Change Of dropdown. Then use the Show dropdown to select which field's values to display for each change in the value of the field that you have just selected in the dropdown above. If you select the Advanced layout, you can instead specify by which field you want to create the groupings within the chart by using the listing of fields shown in the Available Fields list. Use the drop-down that appears to the right to select either On Change Of for each record or for all records. If you select On Change Of or for each record, you will then need to specify which field to use from the Available Fields list. Select the field to use, and then click the right pointing arrow button to move it into the list at the right. Then, for each record or group selected, you can then choose which field's summary values to display. Just click on the field whose values you wish to display within the Available Fields list, and then click the right pointing arrow to move it into the Show Values list to the right. Crystal Reports will then attempt to display a summary value like sum or count for the field. If you would like to change the summary value that's used, click on the Summary Field's value, and then click the Set Summary Options button. In the Edit Summary dialog box which appears, you can select the summary function to display from the Calculate This Summary dropdown. When you're finished, click the OK button to set the summary options that you wish. If you have selected to show the change in value for a specified field, then you can check the Don't Summarize option to not show a summary of a field if you do not wish to see one for the change in the field selected above. Now, if you have a cross-tab table as the basis for your report, You can then click the Cross-Tab Layout button at the left to display the cross-tab display options at the right. These are similar to the normal group options. However, you also have the option to show the data subdivided by a secondary field if needed. You can select which field to use for that purpose from the Subdivided by dropdown. If you have an OLAP data cube as the basis for your data source, then you will see options similar to the ones that you have for the crosstab display. You can use the On Change Of dropdown to select the dimension that you want to use for plotting the values in the chart. Then use the Subdivided by dropdown to choose the secondary row or column by which to base the chart. You can click the Other Dimensions button to invoke the Format Other Dimensions dialog box. Then in that dialog box, you can click on a dimension shown, and then click the Select a Field Value button to specify a new field for the dimension to be fixed to. Now, you can next click on the Axes tab at the top of the Chart Expert dialog box to set axes for your chart. Depending on the type of chart which you're trying to create, the options on this tab will vary. For some chart types, such as the pie chart type, this tab will not even appear, as it would be completely devoid of any meaning or function for that type of chart. Now, depending on the type of chart that you're creating, you will then have checkboxes for the Group Axis X, Series Axis Y, the Data Axis Z, and/or Data To Axis. You can check or uncheck any boxes that correspond to the type of grid lines that you want to show or hide. In the Data Values section, you can specify what range of data values to plot in the chart. If you check the Auto Scale checkbox, you will specify that the number of data labels is adjusted so that they will clearly display along the data axis. If the Auto Range checkbox is checked, the data values for the data axis are assigned a default range of values to plot. If unchecked, you can then use the min and max text boxes to set the desired minimum and maximum values to plot. Also, you can use the Number Format dropdown to set the number formatting used for the data axis. You may also have a Data To axis for which you can set the number display if you are using a crosstab or OLAP chart. In the Number of Divisions section, you can set the number of divisions used for the corresponding data axis. If you select the Automatic option, then Crystal Reports will automatically set the number of divisions for the data axis. If you choose the Manual option, then you can type the desired number of divisions to display into the text box to the right. You can next click the Options tab. In the Chart Color section, you can specify either a color chart or a black and white chart by clicking the desired option button. You can click the Color Highlight tab to set conditional chart formatting. You can set the criteria and colors here, just as you do when using the Highlighting Expert. In the Data Points section of the Options tab, within the Chart Expert dialog box, you set what to display for the data points plotted in your chart. You can check the Show Label checkbox to show the label next to each plotted value. You can check the Show Value checkbox to show the value that's being plotted within the chart. This is often very useful for pie chart types. If you elect to show the value plotted, you can then use the Number Format dropdown to choose the formatting for the values that are displayed. In the Customize Settings section, you can set the display of data markers and pie slices within your chart if the type of chart that you selected makes use of those features. You can check the Transparent Background checkbox to remove the appearance of the background of the chart, allowing underlying objects to become visible through the chart background. If you are creating a line type chart, you can use the Marker Size dropdown to select the size of the markers used to plot the data points on the line chart. You can use the Marker Shape dropdown to choose what shape to make those data markers. You can use the Viewing Angle dropdown to choose the angle from which you will appear to be viewing the chart. If you are creating a pie chart, you can use the Pie Size dropdown to set the size that you want the pie to be. If you are creating a bar chart, you can use the Bar Size dropdown to set the size of the bar chart. If you happen to be creating a pie chart, you can check the Detach Pie Slice checkbox to have one of the pieces of the pie appear detached from the rest of the pie. You can then use the option button to the right to choose to detach either the smallest slice or the largest slice. In the Legend section, you can set the appearance of the legend of the chart. To set the legend to display, check the Show Legend checkbox. You can then use the Placement dropdown to specify where to place the legend within the chart. You can then use the Layout dropdown to set whether to show percentage values, amount values, both, or none within the legend. Now, after setting the options on the other tabs, you can then click the Text tab to set the options for the display of the text within the chart. Here you can set the text to display for the various text elements within the chart. If you leave the Auto Text checkbox checked, the text elements will be automatically created using the default values assigned by Crystal Reports. You can clear the Auto Text checkboxes and then specify your own titles within the text boxes that appear to the right if you would like. You can use the Format section at the bottom of the Text tab to set the display of the text within the chart. To do this, just click on the type of text to format within the scrolling list, such as the title. Then click the Font button to launch the Font dialog box where you can set the font used to display that type of data within the chart. Now when you have finished setting your desired chart options within the Chart Expert dialog box, click the OK button to insert a chart with the specified settings into your report.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.